So we're introducing conic parabolas. These are the instructions for what we're doing. We're either going to have vertical parabolas or horizontal. So we're going to identify right from the start whether it's vertical or horizontal, and then based on that, we use these instructions to figure out all the other data, and then we put the data on the graph. So for the first one, and just what the graphs will look like, they'll either be vertical, like up or down, or horizontal, like left or right. Okay, so for the first example, you may need to write this down. Number 1 is x squared equals negative 4y. Okay, so first step is we're going to solve for the variable that is not squared to try to get it into this format here. So we're going to have like y equals and then other stuff on the other side. So we're solving, just make a note, solve for the variable that's not squared. Okay, so what that means is we're going to get y by itself. Y is the variable that's not squared, so we're going to get y by itself. So divide both sides by negative 4. And then the way we'll write this is like this. So our equation y equals negative 1/4 x squared. Okay, then from there, it's a y equals equation instead of an x equals, so it's either going to be y equals or x equals. If it's y equals, then it's vertical, so you'll just circle V for vertical. Then here our coefficient is a, and so a is negative 1/4. And then for h and k, if there's x minus a number, that would be h, or if there's plus a number at the end, that would be k. In this situation, it doesn't have either, so h and k are just 0, 0. I'm going to try to color code as best I can. So as far as the vertex is hk, which, again, I'm pulling right off the chart. Vertex hk, so that would just be 0, 0, which are the numbers I put in there. Okay, then axis of symmetry. Again, I'm going right here, pulling out what it says to do, x equals h for axis of symmetry. Or h is 0, so x equals 0. Then the focus point. It's this. Okay, cool. It looks complicated, but we're really just like plugging in numbers. So the focus is h, k plus 1/4a. And then I'm going to plug in the values. Yeah, why? Okay, then directrix. Again, I'm just pulling off the instructions off the chart. Directrix is this, so I'm going to write that down. Y equals k minus 1/4a and then plugging in values. And then direction of opening of the parabola. If a is greater than 0, then it's upwards. If a is less than, then it's downwards. And since negative 1/4 is less than 0, then it's going to go downwards. We are going to graph this data on the chart. We are going to continue down here, but for right now we're getting all this onto the table so we can take it from there. So over here on the graph, our vertex is at 0, 0. Axis of symmetry is at x equals 0. So we'll just do a dotted line right here. Then, and I am color coding this as best I can. The focus point is at 0, negative 1. Directrix is at y equals 1. And that's what we have so far. The other thing we have is that this parabola is going to face downward, so it's going to kind of go down like this. I'm doing this in pencil because I don't know exactly where those points are going to be, but I know it's going to look like this. Okay, so what do we do now? Now we have to choose x values so that way we can fill the rest out. So we're going to choose x's. Okay, when we choose x's, we're specifically going to choose ones that work in the equation y equals negative 1/4 and then x squared. So one of the values we might choose is excuse you, okay, sorry. 2 is a good choice because when we multiply by negative 1/4, we'll just get y equals negative 1. So plug in 2, you get negative 1.
How do you know if it's right or not?
How do you know if it's what?
Like, how would you know if it wasn't a great?
You could choose any number. It will work as far as the parabola goes, but you might be graphing fractions. So, yeah. Y equals, again, negative 1/4. Another good number might be 4. Because 4 squared will be 16, and then I'll get a whole number as well. So 16 times negative 1/4. Then graphing these two coordinates over here. And then they get reflected over that axis that we drew. There we go. And then the domain be negative infinity to infinity, and the range would be negative infinity to 0. Next one. Okay. By the way, we're just going to do 2 and 3 today, and then we'll probably do 4 and 5 tomorrow. I don't know. Okay, so number 2, it says y squared is negative 8x. Remember, we're supposed to solve for the variable that's not squared, which in this case is x. So we're going to get x by itself, divide by negative 8, divide by negative 8, get x equals negative 1/8 y squared.
And that's because you're finding one that's not squared.
Correct. And now we have to determine whether this is vertical or horizontal, and we can just look at our chart, and since it's x equals, it's horizontal. So our A, and then there's no like plus or minus numbers at the end, so it's just 0, 0. Then the vertex, which is HK, would be 0, 0. Then axis of symmetry, like I said, I'm literally just looking at the chart, y equals k. So y equals 0. This time I'm looking at the horizontal column though. And then for focus, it's this. Okay, so then directrix, again, I'm just taking it off the chart. X equals h minus 1 over 4a. And then direction of opening, if a is greater than 0, it's to the right. If a is less than 0, it's to the left. And so negative 1/8 is less than 0, so that would be left.
It's not downward or upward?
Nope, because it's horizontal. So our parabola is going to go like to the left, like that. Okay, so now that we have all this, I'm going to start putting things on the chart. I'm going to try to color code it as best I can. Let's see, vertex is at 0, 0. Axis of symmetry is at y equals 0. it is y equals 0. So it's just here. I looked up what are real-life applications of conics, and the parabolas, the ellipses, the circles. Planets travel around the sun in elliptical routes at one focus. Mirrors used to direct light beams at the focus of a parabola are parabolic. So this has to do with like light beams and how light is reflected, which is kind of interesting because this focus point that we're graphing on each one, it seems like kind of random, but that's where the light gets reflected apparently. So yeah, that's cool. Once you have all this on here, then you can start finding coordinates, but instead of choosing x's, we're going to choose y's.
Why are we choosing y?
Because of how the equation's set up. Look, x equals -1/8 y squared, so we're choosing y values to get x's. So a number that would work, we're going to choose 4 and 8. Jeez. It's like one thing after the other. Okay, so then applying the points. The next one, as you can see, is a little bit more intricate. For this one, we're going to have more of the format with the x minus number and plus or minus number out here. But we have to get it into that format by getting the variable without an exponent by itself. So in that case, this case, it is y we're going to be getting by itself. So first step, divide by 4 on both sides. So and then subtract 2 from both sides. And then it's y equals, so it is vertical. Our a is 1/4. H and k, this would be +3, -2. Then the vertex is hk, so that would be 3, -2. insert. And now I'm going to graph on the graph.
Do you know what's going upward?
If a is greater than 0.
Why do you choose x's for this one?
Because of the way the equation is, or because it's vertical, you choose the x's. I guess it doesn't even say that on here. Also because of how this is set up. Like if you were to visualize it, you know it's going to go upward. Like this. So by choosing x's in one direction or the other, you're getting points that you're going to
You could also
get.
do downward.
What do you mean?
Because that's vertex, so
The vertex is, actually I drew it from the focus point, but the vertex is the green one. So yeah, and then we already established that it's going upwards here. So you could